Here are the top stories for today, November 28, 2019. House Speaker and FISGOC Chairman Alan Peter Cayetano says he is ready to face any investigation on the issues surrounding the 30th SEA Games. Senator Tito Sotto lauds the Philippines' hosting of the 30th SEA Games as better compared to those of previous hosts. The Senate approves the proposed 4.1 trillion peso national budget for 2020. And the DICT launches its first free Wi-Fi site in Baguio City. Good day, I'm Rom Dulfo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Our top story, FISGOC Chair and House Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano says he is ready to face any investigation into the piles of controversies surrounding the country's hosting of the 30th Southeast Asian Games. Cayetano said he would show up at any investigation on the issues hounding the SEA Games after the events are done. This as President Rodrigo Duterte is eyeing an investigation into allegations of corruption hounding the Philippines' hosting of the biennial meet. Presidential spokesperson Sal Panelo said that the president was displeased by what he has been hearing about the regional multi-sport, which will run from November 30 to December 11. On Tuesday, Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission Chair Dante Jimenez said there would be an immediate investigation into the supposed blunders hounding the SEA Games once a complaint is lodged before his office. While a complaint has yet to be filed, Jimenez said the PACC may launch its own investigation into the supposed mistakes committed by SEA Games organizers. Just 2 more days to go before the 30th SEA Games officially begin. Journalists are pleased with the readiness of the ASEAN Convention Center, which is the main press center and international broadcast center. In a report from Bernama, foreign journalists took a look around the press base and was delighted to find working desktop computers, a master control room, massage chairs, a dining hall, and a media lounge. They were impressed with arrangements at the center as the Philippine Southeast Asian Games Organizing Committee, or FISGOC, is in a rush to get things ready before the opening ceremony on Saturday. The 2019 SEA Games opening ceremony will be held at the Philippine Arena in Bulacan, while the closing ceremony is scheduled on December 11 at the newly built New Clark City Athletics Stadium. The Philippine Sports Commission, or PSC, on Wednesday made sure that the newly restored Rizal Memorial Sports Complex and Full Sports Complex in Pasig City will be part of this year's historic event. According to PSC, 7 out of 56 sports for the country's hosting of the 30th Southeast Asian Games will be played at the refurbished and leveled up facilities in RMSC and PhilSports. Last Monday, the men's football competitions kicked off at the newly refurbished RMSC football pitch 5 days ahead of the SEA Games opening ceremonies, which will be held on November 30 at the Philippine Arena in Bocaue, Bulacan. The 6,000-seat Ninoy Aquino Stadium, which initially hosted the Team Philippines send-off ng Bayan last November 13, will be the playing venue for weightlifting and taekwondo competitions. The Rizal Memorial Coliseum is also now ready to welcome guests for gymnastics event after its full renovation that started last July. RMSC will also host the lawn tennis and soft tennis competitions, while the indoor volleyball competitions will take place at the newly improved multi-purpose arena in PhilSports. Senate President Tito Sotto on Wednesday said the country's preparations for the SEA Games are way better and more intensive than the ones undertaken by other countries in the past. Sotto made the comment as he reiterated that glitches like the issue of food should have not been blown out of proportion anymore. Sotto, who was a former bowler and participated in the SEA Games in the past, said the host country would allow them to fend for themselves because it wanted them to lose in the competition. Despite this, Sotto said they would always get the gold. He said those who blow some SEA Games issues out of proportion are critics of President Rodrigo Duterte. He also blamed social media for giving importance to these issues rather than support the country's athletes by highlighting the preparation. The lawmaker said it is not also the obligation of the host country to feed the participating foreign athletes. Sotto recalled how he and his companions paid for their own food and board and lodging when he was a SEA Games participant. Meanwhile, President Duterte is considering giving additional incentives to Filipino athletes who will win medals in the 30th Southeast Asian Games on top of the cash bonanza provided by law. Senator Bongo on Wednesday said the president made a suggestion to give Filipino athletes additional incentives to encourage them to compete well amid controversies hounding the biennial multi-sport event. Go said the president has not mentioned the amount for the SEA Games medalists, but at the same time expressed confidence that he would make good on his plan. He said the president is also considering giving the Order of Lapu-Lapu Awards to winning athletes. Go expressed hope that the Philippine team would have an excellent performance and make it to the top 3. Still to come, the Senate approves the proposed 4.1 trillion peso national budget for 2020. The Presidential Task Force on Media Security, or PTFOMS, looks into the reported release of a suspect in the killing of broadcaster Dean Do Generoso. More on these with the PNA Newsroom continues.
Sa CAT wala naman pong sinabing kailangan po ng gender preference para po makasali sa CAT. And wala rin naman pong nire-require na sexuality para po makatulong sa komunidad. Ako po si Rainiel Cruz, 15 years old, from Santolan High School, and currently I am taking and training of citizenship advancement training. Yung pag-CAT ko po, pinili ko po siyang mag-training ng CAT dahil po marami rin po kasi nagsasabi sa akin na kakilala ko pong bakla na di po sila magte-take ng training dahil daw po sa gender preference na. Pero ako po, nag-take po ako ng training dahil gusto ko rin pong matutunan yung mga basic na pinag-aaralan sa citizenship advancement training po. Hindi naman po ako natakot na sumunod sa patakaran nila, and yung military training po na sinasabi dito, never naman pong makaka-apekto sa akin yun, and kaya ko naman pong gawin kahit mag-military training po. Katulad ko po nagtitake po ng CAT. If ever po na mag-ROTC po ako sa senior high, may alam na po ako sa basic military needs and drills po na pwede rin po namin gawin sa ROTC.
The Senate on Wednesday approved on third and final reading the proposed 4.1 trillion peso national budget for 2020. The Senate approved House Bill number 4228 after Senator Juan Edgardo Angara presented the highlights of the Chamber's amendments to the General Appropriations Bill. Among the amendments mentioned by Angara were the 6 billion peso additional allocation for the Department of Education for its Last Mile Schools program. State universities and colleges got an additional 1.158 billion pesos, while the Philippine General Hospital got an additional allocation of 644 million pesos for the purchase of advanced medical equipment. The Senate set aside 3.173 billion pesos for the Department of Health under the Miscellaneous Personnel Benefits Fund, or MPBF, to upgrade the salaries of nurses. The fight against terrorism also got a boost under the Senate proposed amendments. Among these are the 920 million peso allocation that will be given to the Philippine Army for the deployment of one infantry division to address the continuing threat posed by the Abu Sayyaf group in Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi areas. The Philippine National Police also got an increase of 1.529 billion pesos in its budget. Meanwhile, workers in government could expect another round of salary increases, as about 32 billion pesos was allocated for a salary standardization law. After its Senate approval, the measure will then be submitted to the Office of the President for signature. In other news, members of the Philippine National Police Drug Enforcement Group arrested a Chinese national and seized around 2.5 billion pesos worth of shabu in a buy-bust operation in Makati City. PNP officer in charge, Lieutenant General Archie Gamboa, said the suspect, identified as Liu Chao, who was described as the overseer of the contraband, was arrested in a buy-bust operation along Banoyo Street in Barangay San Antonio shortly before midnight Tuesday. Seized from the suspect were 371 kilos of shabu with a street value of 2.5 billion pesos, which were hidden in large travel bags and are believed to be ready for distribution. Meanwhile, authorities on Wednesday seized some 115.6 million pesos worth of suspected shabu in Las Piñas City and arrested 2 alleged couriers linked to Liu Chao. Southern Police District Director Brigadier General Nolasco Bathan said identified the 2 suspects as Joel and Merwin Bustamante, both residents of Malabon City. The 2 were arrested in a follow-up raid conducted by the operatives of Las Piñas City Police Station and PNP Drug Enforcement Group. The raid yielded 17 plastic packs containing suspected shabu. The suspects and the pieces of evidence are now under the custody of the PNP Drug Enforcement Group. Presidential Task Force on Media Security, or PTFOM, said it will look further into the release of one of the suspects in the killing of Dumaguete journalist Dindo Generoso. In an interview following the PCOO roadshow at Silliman University in Dumaguete City, PTFOM's Executive Director, Undersecretary Joel C. Egco, admitted he felt sad upon learning that Teddy Salao, the alleged driver of a pickup truck whom police tagged in Generoso's murder, was released. Egco said he wants to find out what caused the dismissal of the case against Salao by the prosecutor's office. Salao was tagged as the alleged driver of a silver Mitsubishi Strada pickup truck from which the alleged gunman, Police Corporal Roger Rubio, got off before boarding a motorcycle. OIC Dumaguete Police Chief Colonel Wilfredo Alarcon said the dismissal of the complaint against Salao stemmed from the findings of the prosecutor that there was no direct testimony that he was the driver of the pickup truck and that there was no instance in the CCTV footage that his face was seen. However, Alarcon said his investigators will not stop looking for supplemental evidence to pursue the filing of a murder case against Salao. The Eastern Visayas Wage Board looks into raising the monthly minimum salary in the region, and a red tide warning is raised over Lianga Bay in Surigao del Sur. More on these and other news from the provinces from Benj Bondo.
The Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board in Eastern Visayas is eyeing a monthly minimum salary of 3,000 to 4,000 pesos for household workers in the region. The latest wage order for household workers, issued in March 2016, grants them a minimum monthly pay of 2,000 to 2,500 pesos. Following a public hearing at the DILG office on Tuesday, the board hopes to formally announce Wage Order Number 2 for the region. Last August, the wage board in the region granted a 20 peso daily minimum wage hike to more than 3 million private sector workers. Meanwhile, FDC Misamis Power Corporation was honored by the Misamis Oriental Provincial Government as its top real property taxpayer for the third quarter of 2019. The power firm registered a payment of 59 million pesos in the first 3 quarters of 2019. Misamis Oriental Governor Yevgeny Emano assured the province's taxpayers that their payments are in safe hands. FDC Misamis was inaugurated by President Rodrigo Duterte and was connected to the Mindanao grid in September 2016. In Surigao del Sur, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources on Tuesday issued a red tide warning in Lianga, Surigao del Sur. BIFAR 13 said water samples from Lianga Bay turned up positive for paralytic shellfish poison. The consuming public is advised to refrain from gathering, selling, and eating all types of shellfish, including alamang or hipon from Lianga Bay, to avoid possible poisoning. Fish, crab, and squid from the bay can be eaten, but all entrails must be removed and washed thoroughly before cooking. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondo.
Taiwan is working on increasing the contribution of renewable energy to its total energy mix, similar to the Philippines' own efforts. In a briefing Tuesday, officials of Linku Thermal Power Plant, part of the government-owned Taiwan Power Company, said shares of RE on their total portfolio remain small at nearly 10%. They said the government adopted 3 years ago a target to increase RE's share to total portfolio to 20% by 2025. To date, Thai Power's generation capacity comes from coal-fired and combined cycle power plants at 38% each and nuclear power at 14%. In the Philippines, the Department of Energy has set a 30-30-30-10 share for coal, natural gas, renewables, and other sources like oil-based power generation plants. DOE Secretary Alfonso Cusi earlier said that while this goal is good, he encouraged investors to finance any power project that will boost the country's capacity. President Duterte has ordered the reduction of the country's dependence on coal-fired power plants and increase on gas and RE. Up next, the DICT launches its first free Wi-Fi site in Baguio City, and celebrity reservists drum up support for the first presidential silent drill competition. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Bilang nagtitake po ako ng CAT, napag-aaralan din po namin yung tamang pakikipagsalamuha sa iba pong tao. And yung training po na ginagawa po namin, hindi lang po siya para dahil po required, kundi po para rin po mapag-aralan po yung pwede rin po namin gagawin sa ROTC pag nag-senior high po kami. Doon po sa mga nag-aakalang mahirap, yung mga sumasalungat po sa ROTC. Tandaan lang po natin, ROTC will definitely benefit young Filipinos and teach us patriotism. And it will help our country to be prepared. Siyempre po, bilang isa pong estudyante, wala naman pong ibang mga ngalaga po sa bansa natin kundi tayo lang pong mamamayan ng Pilipinas. Kaya sa pamamagitan po ng CAT, magkakaroon po tayo ng kaalaman about sa ROTC po. And can we just devotedly serve our motherland and offer our own lives to serve our country no matter what our gender preference is. The important is, how can you help your country?
Lack of proper financial support from the so-called leaders forces more fighters and supporters of the New People's Army, or NPA, to surrender to the government. Major General Antonio Parlade, Jr. of the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, or NTF-LCAC, said former rebels claimed that Communist Party of the Philippines founding chair Jose Maria Sison has been pushing them to their limits, that they are not being supported properly. Aside from lack of financial support, NPA members wounded in combat are not given proper medical treatment, unlike ranking rebels who are provided with the best of everything. Parlade cited the case of Jaime Padilla alias Ka Diego, NPA Southern Tagalog Regional Party Committee spokesman, who was captured by security forces at the Cardinal Santos Medical Center in San Juan City on Monday. He adds, lack of seasoned and credible leadership would cause the surrender of more fighters and supporters in the coming days. Meanwhile, the Philippine Army has intensified its campaign to stop the recruitment of students by allied groups of the New People's Army, or NPA, as well as the communist terrorist groups' activities in remote communities. More on this from John Escave.
The Philippine Army has organized 75 awareness drives for students in the Eastern Visayas region to save teens from recruitment by the New People's Army. These engagements include career guidance symposium, information drive, youth leadership summit, and campus peace awareness dialogue. The military asked parents to monitor their students' activities diligently and teachers to be vigilant of the misleading recruitment schemes being employed by NPA front organizations. In Sorsogon, a new halfway house is said to be constructed to help surrendering rebels in rejoining mainstream society. The Army said the 5 million peso worth facility in Barangay Cogon in Huban Town will serve as temporary shelter for rebel returnees as they undergo the process of reintegration. The facility, which can accommodate at least 100 rebel returnees, will be the third in the Bicol region. Meanwhile, the Army's 8th Infantry Division said they would not stop efforts to completely rid the poverty-stricken communities of Las Navas, Northern Samar of the influence of the NPA and its front organizations. This as the efforts of the military and other government agencies has been more focused in NPA-infested communities of Las Navas town. The Army cited the strategic importance of Las Navas as the center of propaganda for the communist terrorist groups. It said despite the efforts of the NPA to take control of remote communities, they have been unsuccessful with the full support of local government units to the central government's anti-insurgency drive. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
The Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, launched on Wednesday the first free Wi-Fi site in Baguio City. DICT ASEC Felino Castro V led the turn-on ceremony of the free Wi-Fi site at the Post Office Park on Wednesday. There will be 944 sites in the Cordillera Administrative Region, or CAR, including 309 sites in Baguio alone. The next Wi-Fi site will be at the bus station area at Governor Pak Road, followed by the launching at Burnham Park. Castro said they hope to finish all the target sites in 2 to 3 years, with at least 10% finished by next year. Castro assured the continuity of the program beyond President Duterte's term. The Philippine Sports Tourism Awards has once more cited Clark, Pampanga as Sports Tourism Destination of the Year. The PSTPA, or the PSTA, bestowed the award to Clark for hosting more than 200 events since last year, included fun run, marathon, triathlon, and duathlon, and other sports-related activities. Aside from this, Clark is also a preferred destination for meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibits. This is the second time that Clark was given recognition by the PSTA, the last time being in 2015. Noel Manangkil, President and Chief Executive Officer of Clark Development Corporation, thanked the PSTA for recognizing Clark as a premier destination. He also encouraged the various organizations involved in sports tourism management to visit Clark and explore the newly built sports facilities in New Clark City. The Western Visayas Police Regional Office Ladies Club has brought Christmas early to residents of a barangay in Kulasi, Antique, affected by insurgency. The PRO6 Ladies Club, in partnership with the Provincial Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, conducted a gift-giving and medical and dental mission in Barangay Magsaysay, Kulasi on November 23. The two groups distributed gifts consisting of rice and grocery items to 100 households in the barangay. The Mandirigmang Mga Awit also held a concert to bring joy, especially to the children in the community. The activity with the theme Helping People, Changing Lives was conducted to let the people in the affected barangay avail of the PNP and PTF LCAC services, especially as Christmas is fast approaching. Here's the latest in our community billboard. Celebrity reservists have expressed their support and urged the public to witness the first presidential drill on December 5, 2019. The first presidential silent drill competition is the highlight of the ROTC Summit that will be attended by around 2,500 men and women in uniform, including ROTC cadets from various universities and colleges.
Kumusta mga kababayan? EG Palbon po, at iniimbitahan ko po kayong manood sa gaganaping silent drill competition sa darating na December 5, 2019, 9:30 ng umaga sa Quirino Grandstand, Metro Manila. Magpapasiklaban po dyan ng galing sa silent drill ang mga kadete ng iba't ibang service schools and academies. Free entrance po yan, kaya sabay-sabay tayong manood at umanga sa galing ng mga kadete.
Hi everybody, good day. This is Second Lieutenant Mateo Richelli. Please support the silent drill competition on December 5, 2019 at the Quirino Grandstand. Let's support ROTC.
Hello there, fellow youth. This is Rocco Nasino inviting all of you to attend and be amazed as you watch the Inter-Academy Silent Drill Competition this December 5 p.m. at the Quirino Grandstand in Manila. I hope you all can support our mandatory ROTC program dahil mag-enjoy talaga kayo dyan.
Mabuhay mga tropa sa ROTC o magaganap sa December 5, ang unang-una. First Presidential Silent Drill Competition. Kailangan nandyan tayo lahat.
Para sa magiging lagay ng panahon natin ngayong araw nga ng Webes, November 28, 2019, makikita natin dito sa ating satellite imagery nga na may amihan pa rin nakakapekto dito sa Hilaga at gitnang Luzon na magdadala pa rin yan ng patuloy na maulap na papawirin na may mga kalat-kalat na pagulan. Kasama na dyan dito ang Cagayan Valley, Cordillera at probinsya nga ng Aurora at Quezon. Samantalang dito sa Metro Manila at lalabing bahagi ng Luzon, isolated light rains lamang ating inaasahan at generally fair weather naman ang ating susubaybayan sa susunod nga na 24 oras. Ang Kabisayan at Mindanao naman ay patuloy pa rin makakaranas nga ng maaliwalas sa panahon. Meron lamang tayong mga inaasahan na mga isolated rain showers, dala pa rin yan ng localized thunderstorm. Dito naman ang update natin dito sa binabantayang Baguio. Isang ganap ng atong typhoon kaninang umaga. And as of 3 p.m. nga, ito tinatayang nasa layong 1,425 kilometers. Silangan pa rin yan ng Kabisayan. Nagtatagli ito ng hanging aabot nga ng 130 kilometers per malapit sa gitna at pagbugso na pwedeng umabot ng 160 kilometers per hour. Ito nga kumikilos pa rin na pahilagang kanluran sa bilis nga na 10 kilometro kada oras. Kung ito ay hindi magbabago ng kanyang bilis at direksyon, inaasahan pa rin natin na papasok ito ng ating Philippine Area of Responsibility pagdating nga ng Sabado ng gabi o Linggo ng umaga. Ibig sabihin nito magiging pang 20 bagyo na nga siya na pumasok ko na buo sa ating Area of Responsibility at papangalanan natin Bagyong Tisoy. Sa ngayon, pagpasok nito ng ating PAR, wala pa naman itong direktang epekto dito sa kanlurang bahagi, ngunit maapektuhan niya itong silangang bahagi nga ng Bicol Region. So, sa Sunday, inaasahan natin na posible nga tayo magtaas ng signal number 1 over the Bicol Region pagpasok nga nitong bagyong si Tisoy na tatawagin natin pagdating nga ng Sabado o Linggo. At para naman sa magiging lagay ng panahon, dito nga sa Luzon area, patuloy pa rin ang epekto ng ating amihan. Kaya ang Cagayan Valley kasama ng Cordillera, Aurora at Quezon ay patuloy pa rin ang makakaranas na maulap na papawirin na may mga pulo-pulo o kalat-kalat na mga pagulan. Samantalang ang Metro Manila at nalalabing bahagi naman ng Luzon ay generally fair weather o maliwalas sa panahon ng inaasahan at meron lang tayo mga pulo-pulong mga maihinang pagulan. At para naman sa mga kababayan natin dyan sa Bicol Region, inaasahan natin na generally fair weather ang aasahan natin hanggang bukas. Pero pagdating nga ng Linggo, inaasahan natin na magkakaroon ng cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorm dahil na ito sa epekto nga ng papalapit ng bagyong si Tisoy. Samantalang dito naman sa Puerto Princesa area, inaasahan pa rin natin ng generally fair weather o maliwalas sa panahon, maliban na lamang sa mga isolated rain showers, dala pa rin yan ng mga localized thunderstorm. Samantalang sa mga kababayan naman natin dyan sa Kabisayaan, hindi ito direkta maapektuhan nga ng paparating na bagyo, kaya maliwalas sa panahon pa rin ang ating inaasahan. At para naman sa mga kababayan natin dyan sa Mindanao, magandang balita pa rin, isolated thunderstorms pa rin ang ating inaasahan nga na makakaranas o mararanasan ng mga kababayan natin dyan sa Mindanao area. Kaya patuloy natin silang pinapayuhan nga na maging handa dito sa mga dagliang pagulan, ngunit hindi naman ito magtatagal sa mga susunod na araw.
Here's another look at today's biggest stories. House Speaker and FISGOC Chairman Alan Peter Cayetano says he is ready to face any investigation on the issues surrounding the 30th SEA Games. Senator Tito Sotto lauds the Philippines' hosting of the 30th SEA Games as better compared to those of previous hosts. The Senate approves the proposed 4.1 trillion peso national budget for 2020, and the DICT launches its first free Wi-Fi site in Baguio City. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check more news content, check our webpage or follow the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags on all our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Grom Dulfo. A good day.